Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Instructions. Thanks for tuning in, and welcome to another Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 gameplay commentary, where I talk about things on my mind as well as in my life. The last time I've done one of these videos was in late September, when it was the end of Course 5 and I had my fall break. It's been pretty into Course 6 right now. It's been, a little over a month and a half since I've done one of these videos, and I just wanted to give you guys an update on how I'm doing and talk about things that are on my mind as we approach the Thanksgiving season. In the background are 6 Moab streaks. The first one's going to be a 21 on mission and I get cornered. The second one's going to be a 21 on terminal and I get out tack inserted. The third one's going to be a 22 on lockdown. The fourth one's going to be a 23 on mission. The fifth one's going to be a 20 on village, and the game ends. And the sixth one is going to be a 22 on hard hat with a moab at the end. So to start off, I want to talk about a little bit about school. This course has been a little bit more interesting, but definitely a lot harder conceptually than the last course. I want to say that Course 5 was mostly just memorizing, and this one you actually have to reason. You actually have to think and reason through different pathways of care, as well as different treatments, as well as different etiologies. So in this sense, I felt like, really the problem solving is kicking in a high gear, and I had to get used to it in the beginning. Also, I had a little bit of difficulty finding a good balance between outside resources, using outside resources like OnKing, BNB, and using in-house lectures, because I found a lot of pharmacology especially to be very nitpicky about the details. So this particular unit, we are studying the heart, then the lungs, and then the kidneys. And the first test was the heart, and things like cardiomyopathies, heart failure, heart attacks, arrhythmias, etc. And I found that to be moderately interesting. I think the heart is a very complex organ that is obviously vital to survival. And I want to say that the heart is pretty high yield for step 1. And so taking this unit seriously was one of my top concerns. And, we just had a lot of drugs and they threw a lot at us. And some of the pathologies, sometimes I even still have difficulty understanding. But, I just think that this is very important when we hit the wards next year. So my mindset when I was going into this unit was to learn everything the best as I can. So that was test 1. Test 2 was pulmonary and respiration, so your lungs and your respiratory tracts. And that one actually had a little bit of Course 5 content in it, because as you know, we get a lot of colds, we get a lot of pharyngitis and all that stuff, and that is caused by microbacteria as well as viruses. So it had a little bit of review from Course 5 as well. I remember this time last year, we were learning about the lungs, and I remember just struggling on the volumes, the gases, and the physiology of the lungs. And this year, I realized that when I learned the pathology and the pharmacology for the lungs, I can understand physiology better. And so, obviously, we visited the lungs for the second time this year, and I felt like it was really nice to be able to put things into perspective after you've learned what is abnormal. However, one thing I noticed about myself is that my study strategies have been predominantly for outside resources. So I just use, a lot of outside resources like Barnes & Beyond to basically be the driver for my studying, and I didn't really care that much about in-house, basically the stuff that we talked about in lectures. And my mindset still is the fact that we're learning all of this to prepare for step 1. And whatever's in-house, whatever lecturers care about is really not going to overlap too much with step 1. So I want to maximize our resources by studying those things instead of studying the minutiae that our lecturer is really focused on. Honestly, I'm paying a bit of a price for that, because my test scores have kind of gone down compared to what I've done last year, because last year I've just basically done in-house stuff. And but I think it's a good trade-off, because at this point I just want to learn for my own sake, and I wanted to learn to prepare for a test that ultimately is way more important than any of the course tests that we have in-house. Another part of my life during second year so far that started this course was my doctoring for clinical experiences. So I was assigned to a infectious disease doctor at Moffitt Cancer Center, and I felt like it was an interesting review of the infectious diseases that we've learned in class, as well as to see infectious diseases in action. Infectious diseases is a specialty where is very famous for taking very long and detailed histories to the point where other healthcare workers just don't like it. It's an annoyance to them because they have to read, 4 or 5 pages of stuff. I remember my attending, he's very particular about the things he cares about. He tells me first thing that I came in, be in and out in 1 minute. Ask 4 questions and 4 questions only, and that's the reason is that the patients literally don't care. They don't have a 1 minute attention span. When he first said that, I was pretty shocked. But I enjoy it, because if infectious diseases is really like this, then, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. And that brings us to today. So I'm recording this video at the end of a very arduous exam week. So we had, of course, 6-2, which is called pulmonary pathology and pharmacology, and then the cardiopulmonary exam, where I get to basically examine a standardized patient, interview them, do a physical exam, figure out what's wrong with them, and report to an attending, basically playing the role of a physician. And I haven't really studied since late last week, and I've been going to different places around Florida as just my own personal enjoyment, as well as friends. And right now I'm just trying to study again and really enjoy this week off before the final week of lectures and then finals. But I don't want to make it sound like this update is just about school. I've also been having a little bit more fun lately. A couple of weeks ago, a friend and I played Step Maniacs, and I got exposed to Step Maniacs for the first time in my life. It feels a little bit similar to Dance Dance Revolution, not Pump It Up, Dance Dance Revolution, but it has an added center panel to kind of give you a little bit more variety and diversity in your playstyles. I recently found out that there was a cab about 45 minutes east of where I live, and so some of my friends also live in the Lakeland area in Florida, so I've been going there for a little bit. And that leads me pretty well into something I did recently, a couple days ago, as you might have seen on my channel. As you might have seen on my YouTube channel recently, I went to IAAPA Expo, which is the annual expo for the amusement industry, and I pretty much went there for only 2 companies, Step Revolution and Andamero, because I play a lot of dance games like Step Maniacs and Pump It Up, respectively. And then afterwards, my friends and I went to the Kennedy Space Center, which is pretty much like an amusement park, but also with a little bit of history and a little bit of, museum for the space program that we have here in the U.S. and to experience some, launch simulations just as for fun. And I really enjoyed that, and I'm probably gonna take other people there as well in the future. But throughout all this, I've realized that time just flies while you're having fun. Even when you're studying, I think that it is very, easy to lose track of time and to just be so immersed in your studies and everything that you do that weeks just become a blur. And I want to say with a lot of confidence that it was almost as if like it's a blink of an eye ago before I just started course 6, and now we are Thanksgiving time. And a couple of weeks ago, as we reverted our clocks back 1 hour, I realized that this year, 2022, was coming to an end. And, about 10 days ago or so, I think a week ago, Black Ops 2 hit its 10-year anniversary. So Black Ops 2 is already 10 years old. And, I just realized that our lives are passing so fast. And, we need to take time to really reflect and to be thankful of what we have. Fitting with this Thanksgiving season, I just wanted to be able to say that throughout all the challenges and the sorrows and whatnot, I'm thankful to be where I am, and I'm thankful that, USF gave me the opportunity to see a future in me and to invest in me. And I'm thankful for all my friends, who've been so supportive of me. I consider people in my audiences as friends because they've just been so supportive of me and, reach out to me when I don't feel well and really just really have a good time together. And that's something that I don't think anybody should take for granted. Last but not least, I'm thankful for my health and the position I'm in currently. In the beginning of this block, I had a little bit of a health scare from a condition called rhabdomyolysis. I could get into this condition in a later video, but basically I exercised too hard and then my muscles broke down. And this could have been an emergency situation, but I'm just so glad that I'm still here in one piece. So nowadays, I'm very careful about how I exercise myself, and I'm still on the way to recover to the strength that I had before this episode of rhabdomyolysis. So now let's talk about the roadmap for this channel for the rest of the year. As you might have noticed recently, I wrapped up my Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 campaign playthrough. Those were every Tuesdays at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm playing around with different ideas for a similar series next year, but I don't really know if I'm going to be able to do them, so this is just an idea at this point. I have quite a ton of gameplays on my hard drive that I could share with you guys, but obviously some of them will have to wait till next year. I'll try to share as much as I can this year, not only Modern Warfare 3, but also Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, and other Call of Duties whose gameplays I've accrued over the course of this year. I'm also planning to make at least 1 or 2 voice commentaries like this one to not only get rid of footage on my hard drive, but also to give you guys a little bit about the thoughts of my life and, just to wrap up the year and to talk about things. I think the Tuesday-Friday upload schedule is okay for me, and it's giving me a decent amount of views as well as enough exposure per video. So I think I'm going to keep that for at least these next 2 months. Maybe I'll adjust it in January. So all in all, look forward to videos around the schedule for the next couple of weeks, and as always, thank you so much for watching, which is especially important as we approach Thanksgiving season. I encourage you to say thanks to people in your life, because don't take them for granted. They might not exist in the next, month or year. But if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you on the next one.
Oh, let's go! Oh my god! Wait, what? Oh, that's a m.o.a.b right there. Let's go. Wow, dude, I gotta get mine. Let's go, guys.
Securing Charlie. All positions locked down. Hold your positions. Losing Charlie.
Where's my m.o.a.b? I need to get mine. Ah, GG's. GG's, dude. Holy shit, I could have got... Dude, I was on a streak. I know I was on a streak.